Right now at 6, investigators are working to determine why a Wanakee man shot and killed the woman living across the hall from him. Plus, the medical examiner is releasing new details in the fatal crash on I-39 yesterday morning. And you might be seeing a higher water bill as the Madison water utility tries to dig itself out of a multi-million-dollar deficit. A look at how you could be paying much more.
This is News 3 at 6.
A 74-year-old man is in jail facing a first-degree murder charge after Wanakee police say he killed his neighbor. Now, even though the victim is still unidentified, we're learning more about her, including that children were in the apartment with her when she was shot. Our Madeline O'Neill has been following this story.
Keeley, Wanakee police say this is the first homicide in about 10 years in their village, usually recognized as one of the safest places to live in the state. We spoke with one neighbor who lives in the unit right next to the victim and the accused shooter. He was there last night.
This type of thing you don't see coming.
After 25 years of living on Kearney Way here in Wanakee,
I've never locked my door.
James Rowley never expected to hear gunshots.
It's rare.
Right next door.
It's beyond rare.
At about 5 o'clock Friday afternoon, Rowley went to the shared hallway in his complex and ran into his neighbor, 74-year-old Ronald Jenny, who he's known for years.
Older guy that chose to keep to himself.
Holding a gun.
It's amazingly you're not scared at the moment. Even after seeing the gun, it didn't enter my mind that he could turn around and shoot me.
Rowley went to call police and found his other neighbor shot in her apartment.
Great mother, loved those kids.
This is a very tragic, isolated incident.
Wanakee's police chief says the victim, who later died at the hospital, had her teenage son and 4-year-old grandson with her when Jenny came to her apartment and shot her.
The children are with family right now.
Police arrested Jenny after he barricaded himself in his neighboring apartment, where they also found a handgun.
The person that's responsible for this is in jail. They will be held accountable.
They're still searching for a motive.
Clearly something upset Mr. Jenny, the suspect in this case, and still investigating that.
The chief says police have had contact with Jenny several times this year and were concerned about his mental health. Just Friday morning, the district attorney's office filed a disorderly conduct violation against Jenny, which police say was not related to the victim.
Just across the hall neighbors, that's all they were.
As Rowley waits for the police tape to come down so he can return home, he knows his neighborhood is still safe.
Yes, very, very safe.
But it's hard to believe just how close to home this hit.
It hasn't hit me yet. I have not settled down. Right now, I'm just been thinking about the boys.
Wanakee police say residents at the complex will likely be able to return to their homes sometime today. There will be a vigil for the victim tonight that starts at 7 and will be at the East Main Street Park in Wanakee.
Madeline O'Neill reporting for us. Thank you, Maddie. We're learning more about the woman who died in a crash on I-39 southbound at East Washington Avenue yesterday morning. The Dane County Medical Examiner has identified her as Tatiana Blackburn from Ontario, Canada. Officials say she was the passenger in a Honda Civic when the driver lost control and hit the median just before 5:30 a.m. A pickup truck then hit the car, causing it to spin into the far right lane where a delivery truck hit it again. The 3 drivers are expected to be okay. The State Patrol and Medical Examiner are still investigating. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash on Highway 151 in Dodge County at around 4:30 this morning. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says a Saturn was hit by a Chrysler while trying to cross over the highway. The Saturn driver was seriously injured and taken to Waupun Hospital. The Chrysler driver had minor injuries. Both the Wisconsin State Patrol and Dodge County Sheriff's Office are investigating. Madison police are investigating an armed robbery that happened several weeks ago at a park on Madison's east side. A 60-year-old man told police someone stole his cash, debit card, and cell phone in the bathroom at Rindell Park. According to the chief's blog, police are still investigating the incident. In Rock County, federal and local officials are investigating how an ultralight plane crashed into the Memorial Bridge in Janesville. Now, this happened at the bridge on East Memorial Drive around 9:30 this morning. Police say a 48-year-old pilot is expected to be okay. He didn't have any passengers with him. Janesville police, the Milwaukee Flight Standards Division, and the FAA are trying to figure out what caused the crash. All lanes are back open on Highway 29 in Janesville after a semi-truck got stuck in the mud. Police had to redirect traffic for about 40 minutes this morning at the Morse Street intersection. That's right near the Festival Foods grocery store. Well, hopefully no more issues out on the road now that the rain has cleared out. Dave Caulfield joins us with our first alert forecast. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Keely. It is very nice to see a quiet radar, and that is what we are experiencing across southern Wisconsin this evening. The humidity is still with us for the most part, but it's not sparking any rain showers, and I think that will be the case as we head into tomorrow as well. Live look in Platteville, we do have some clouds and some clouds that are trying to produce some rain showers, but nothing falling yet on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. I think it will stay that way into tonight, but with that humidity still here, areas of fog definitely possible overnight into early Sunday morning. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s across southern Wisconsin. Dew points are a little bit better for some of us, but still in the 70s in Platteville and Mineral Point, especially for spots north of Madison, closer to Camp Douglas. It is quite a bit less humid compared to this time yesterday. So this evening, temperatures falling through the 80s and 70s into the mid 60s by later this evening, mostly clear and mild. We'll talk more about when rain chances return to southern Wisconsin in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Dave. The mother of a UW-Madison student who died from bacterial meningitis is asking university officials to require a vaccine to protect against that illness. Gail Bailey's son died from the rare but potentially fatal disease in 2002. She and immunization groups sent letters to several colleges asking them to join Indiana and Purdue universities in the vaccination requirement. Medical experts say students have an increased risk of acquiring bacterial meningitis because they tend to share food and drinks. A spokesperson from UW-Madison University Health Services says they will not require the vaccines, but urge students to talk with their doctor about it. A recent report from the Department of Justice says most victims of sex crimes in the state are teenagers under the age of 18. That study found it's most common for the attacker to know the victim but not be a family member. That could include an acquaintance, coworker, boss, or neighbor. The DOJ report comes as the rate of sex offenses has increased 14% between 2013 and 2017. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir is making a few stops around the state today, campaigning to unseat Senator Tammy Baldwin this November. She told people at the Fitchburg Republican Party field office this afternoon that Republicans need to unite to make sure Baldwin doesn't get another 6 terms in office.
She was in Eau Claire not that long ago, campaigning with Bernie Sanders, who wants government-run, full socialized medicine. Now, can you imagine how much fun I'm going to have debating her on the differences between free market health care and government-run healthcare? Who do you think is going to win that debate?
Vukmir is a nurse from Brookfield and is campaigning as a mom with a cause. She wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it with free market solutions. On Thursday, a group of nurses and healthcare professionals protested her healthcare agenda at the Capitol. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin set out a letter in response to her visit today saying she isn't on Wisconsin's side. A spokesperson says corporate special interests handpicked Vukmir, and she's, quote, selling out Wisconsin's working families, retirees, and kids. The new interim alder for Madison's 13th district says he does not plan to rerun for election in April next year. Alan Arnson was officially sworn in at Common Council meeting earlier this month, beating out 11 other applicants. He is a recently retired trial lawyer. In a blog post this afternoon, he wrote that his goal is to serve people in the district as best he can over the next 8 months, but offered to meet with anyone interested in taking over the position after that. Arnson is temporarily replacing Sarah Eskridge after she resigned to take a job in suburban Milwaukee. Eskridge is one of 3 alders who left the Common Council this summer. Madison Water Utility is asking to increase water rates as part of its effort to recover from its $6 million deficit. The utility filed an application with the Public Service Commission asking for an overall 30% revenue increase. The city says homeowners can expect to see an average increase of about $7.40 per month if that request is approved. The last time the utility raised its rates was September of 2015. The State Public Service Commission will hold a public hearing on the rate application at the end of August. The Madison Mini is celebrating its 10th year with a half marathon and 5K this morning. Runners went along a route that winded downtown to the Arboretum and back. Some campus and Arboretum area streets were partially closed to accommodate runners. Organizers say the event is as strong as ever.
This is an event for all of you runners out there that are looking to try a new one. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Check it out. It's 10 years in and strong, and every year it's a celebration.
Proceeds for the Madison Mini are going to the UW OBGYN Department's Healthy Women, Healthy Babies Fund. Well, coming up next on News 3 at 6, Consumer Reports has some tips on how you can avoid a power outage. We'll rank some of the best generators for your home when we come back. Welcome back. Well, maybe you've been to a shooting range, but have you ever been to an axe range? Well, one is hitting Madison today. The Happy Axe in West Madison is celebrating its grand opening. Guests can reserve lanes in advance to take and learn the perfect axe throwing technique. Staff says there's no experience like throwing an axe for the first time.
It's definitely nice to have people coming out and trying something new. It's definitely something that I've fallen in love with over the last 10 months, and a lot of people, as soon as, you know, the axe hits the board, their eyes light up and they're all excited.
Staff says that safety measures are in place to make sure everybody can enjoy the experience. Well, losing power is always annoying, but it can also be costly and dangerous. Think about having to throw away spoiled food or cleaning up after a frozen pipe burst. A generator can save the day and night. It turns on when the lights turn off. Consumer Reports explains how to find the right generator for your home.
Hurricane season can wreak havoc on a home. When Marie Ball's neighborhood lost power in a hurricane, she gave her husband an ultimatum.
You know, I've just been without heat and electricity for 4 days. I want this generator and I want it now.
If you're in the market for backup power, Consumer Reports says start by assessing your needs.
The first thing you need to do is make a list of the stuff that you absolutely can't live without during the storm.
Here are a few scenarios to use as a guide, along with models that really brought the power in CR's test. If you just want to power your refrigerator, some lights, and a phone charger or laptop, consider the lightest type of generator that delivers up to 2,000 watts. This Yamaha model is quite fuel efficient. A mid-size inverter will give you up to 3,500 watts, so you can also power a window air conditioner and run either your coffee maker, washing machine, or hair dryer. This mid-size Predator did well in CR's tests. If your needs include running a large sump pump or water well pump, a larger portable generator providing up to 7,500 watts can handle all this plus a gas furnace. Consumer Reports recommends this Generac model. And if you want whole house power, a permanently installed standby generator that provides up to 20,000 watts can make you forget there's a storm outside. This Champion model kicks in automatically and can power anything in a typical home simultaneously. As for the Ball family, they installed a whole house generator, and the next time there was an outage,
We kind of smiled, turned on the generator, and walked around, and it was wonderful.
Now, to avoid illness or even death caused by carbon monoxide poisoning, never operate your generator in an enclosed space. Keep it at least 20 feet from your home with the exhaust port pointed away from your house. Consumer Reports recommends a transfer switch, but if you use an extension cord, CR says make sure it's a 12-gauge cord rated for outdoor use. Well, it's a beautiful day to take a stroll outside. We'll check out an outdoor art fair celebrating 10 years in Fitchburg. Next on News 3.
Some more fog is possible overnight, and we'll talk about when storm chances return to southern Wisconsin in your first alert forecast coming up right after this.
Welcome back. The 10th annual Agora Art Fair came to Fitchburg today. Over 100 regional artists came to the city center selling their work and interacting with community members. There were also quite displays for adult coloring contests, among other activities. Organizers say that since the fair began 10 years ago, it's only continued to grow. Well, what a beautiful day it was for this fair and so many other activities. Will it stay, though?
I think so, especially for tomorrow. But after that, we start to welcome in the rain once again. Hopefully we don't get too much, because we've really received too much in some spots. Too much for the next couple of weeks in some areas. Visible cloud track a lot better looking today. If you're a fan of that sunshine, really not too many clouds, especially into this afternoon, and mostly clear skies will be with us into this evening and tonight as well. Doppler track is quiet, except as we look to our friends in Michigan, a couple of light showers there, but not for us in southern Wisconsin. From Watertown to Madison, all the way to Lone Rock, Brer Duchesne, and Platteville, we are looking quiet on radar. Here's what it looks like in downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Lots of blue sky, still a little bit of a haze to the air. The almanac for today, right on schedule, right at normal for this time of year with a high of 79 degrees. Some of us did get into the 80s, especially across southwestern Wisconsin, a little bit warmer, but also a little bit more humid. So I guess pick your poison in this case. Temperatures right now are pretty close to that. 83 in Boscobel, 79 in the Dells, and 82 in Janesville. Dew points, they're better. However, we still are looking at some 70s showing up on our dew point map in Mineral Point, Platteville, 66 in Platteville, 64 in Madison, which is still a little bit noticeable, especially for this time of year with the sunshine out. Still feels a little bit sticky, but definitely an improvement in some spots. High temperature trend, looking at those temperatures in the mid 70s on Tuesday. Rain looking like a good bet Monday and Tuesday. Some thunderstorms also possible on Monday before we get back into the 80s by the middle of next week. So for tonight, mild, mostly clear, areas of fog once again developing with temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll be in the low 80s tomorrow, partly sunny, warm. Can't rule out some showers or thunderstorms arriving very late, basically on Monday. Let me show you that on future track. We'll be quiet tonight with areas of fog developing as temperatures dip into the 60s. Then as we head into tomorrow, I still think we'll see plenty of sunshine, highs maybe a little bit warmer for some of us into the low 80s. Then on Monday, we start to welcome in our next chance of showers and storms, a low pressure system off to our west, getting some residual showers out ahead of that main low pressure system by the time we get to Monday afternoon. That's when those showers and thunderstorms look most likely to develop. And by the time we get to Tuesday, some more heavy rain amounts are possible, at least on our forecast models for now. So we'll hopefully avoid that, but we have to be ready for that as we head into Monday and Tuesday. So after that, temperatures will be back into the 80s Thursday and Friday. But by next weekend, our next chance for some showers and thunderstorms arrives.
Well, we are less than 2 weeks until the Badgers kick off the season under the lights at Camp Randall. So which group is Jim Leonard impressed by the most so far? That story next in sports. Well, the Badgers with another night practice tonight. They're about to take the field as we speak, and fall camp winding down, believe it or not. Next week is the final week. So that means competition getting tight, especially for cornerbacks, according to defensive coordinator Jim Leonard. They've been the most consistent group so far on that side of the ball.
Unless you're a guy that is just proving time and time again that we can't keep you off the field because you're so productive and you're making so many plays, it's going to come down to consistency, and that's what I'm hitting with that whole group. And I think at this moment, those guys are playing the most consistent. I love what they're doing.
And, you know, it's a similar scenario for the Packers as the preseason winds down. The next time we see the Packers on the field at Lambeau, it'll officially be the regular season. The Packers are on the road for the remainder of the preseason at Oakland and Kansas City. So that means just 2 more opportunities for head coach Mike McCarthy and his staff to figure out who will make the 53-man roster and who won't.
You have to look at everything. Obviously, you have opinions internally and externally, but at the end of the day, you know, the decision makers have to look at all the information, you know, and it's obviously a lot more than opinion. It's the video and all the variables that play into that, and we'll do that for all of our players, because, you know, you have to, you know, obviously want to get the 53-man roster right, and obviously got some guys that are fighting and scratching and making a case to be on that.
Some preseason ball to our West. Jaguars at Vikings. Kirk Cousins there. First half, Leonard Fournette up the gut for the 1-yard score. He led the team in rushing yards last season. Second half here now, Mike Boone getting the handoff for Minnesota, getting through the gap down to the 5, eventually taking it in, and Minnesota taking the 10-7 lead, but Jacksonville scoring late, and the Jaguars beat the Vikings 14-10. Okay, so tell me if you've heard this before. The Brewers struggling late in the season, injury-ridden, and with pitching problems. Yep, sounds familiar. The Cardinals now closing in on the Brewers in the wildcard race. In fact, St. Louis could overtake the Brewers tonight if they win. The Brew Crew will depend on Wade Miley to pitch better than Freddie Peralta did last night. Right now at Busch Stadium, we are scoreless in the first inning. Finally tonight, we mentioned this on Prep Mania last night. History coming to an end last night thanks to Jared Sherbold of Fond du Lac kicking the game-winning field goal, bringing the nation's longest winning streak to an end in high school football. The Kimberly Papermakers had won 70 games in a row until last night. Now, this is kind of important. Head coach Steve Jones of Kimberly with some important, wonderful life lesson words after the game, telling his players that he doesn't fear losing, he only fears getting better.
Great advice and some pretty good weather for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, the weather got better yesterday, and it will stay nice into tomorrow. Right now, it's a nice evening, a little bit humid. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. For tomorrow, starting off with some fog once again. Then we'll be in the low to mid 80s with plenty of sunshine on Sunday.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 10.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.